Hey there, y'all, and welcome to today's Daily Down and Dirty. My name is Fairlight. Thank you for coming to Airy Fairy Tarot. All right, y'all. I know I took like the whole summer off from making videos, and I'm hoping to get myself back into the swing of it. Been a mixed bag this summer. The best of it has been putting myself into music. I've got a really cool band now, and we started gigging. Been on some adventures from the beach to Colorado to wherever, and just had to take some time to work on me as well. But I'm back and hoping to be more consistent with these videos and come out with some other shit too, you know. All right, so let's get into the reading. So unfortunately, it's kind of a rough energy today, but you know what? Might as well look at it. If I don't point it out, who will, right? So the message is these things just ain't working for you. And I want to start out by, talking about the astrology. I know Venus is opposing Pluto today. Venus at the early degrees of Leo opposing Pluto in Aquarius. And, it kind of, Pluto revolutionizes, easy for me to say. And Venus is our divine feminine, no matter what energies you feel most aligned with outwardly or inwardly. We all have a Venus somewhere in our chart. So it really is about self-worth. Kind of what throws me is that we start out with this 10 of Cups. And this is kind of a happily ever after card. Tens indicate the completion of a cycle, and it's one of the happy tens in the minor arcana. So it's, it's your cups being, it's emotional fulfillment. It's your cups being fulfilled. And again, the end of a cycle, it doesn't quite line up with the rest of the reading, but that's why I want to start out by addressing it. I would love for this to be the card we're landing on. And so maybe we'll bring it all back around. Maybe this is describing a journey you've been on. Kind of what I get with this and looking at the rest of these cards, it's like, I wonder, do you know that you could have better for yourself? Do you know that there is more fulfillment for you? And it's maybe it is a spiritual reading. Maybe it is a call to recognize more about yourself. So there's like bridging over, there's an overlighting bridge to the next row of cards. So above it, we've got the 9 of Swords upright and the Queen of Pentacles reversed. Such a hard energy. And this is my PTSD card, and then with this Queen of Pentacles being reversed, I like to talk about her when she's upright. Queen of Earth, she knows her worth. She's invested in herself. She is cultivating what it is that she wants in life. She's patient, she's disciplined, she's committed, and she knows that she is worth the investment. She knows that she is worth the time that it takes. I always want to say with her, discipline is choosing what you want most over what you want now. So I wonder, ending on that and turning her back around, I wonder if you're feeling a lack of discipline because of a trauma response. Maybe you're hating on yourself a little bit for procrastinating and all right, called me out. God damn it. You know what, but we can look at it and say, well, if we're hating on ourselves for procrastinating, how do we love ourselves into overcoming this trauma? Instead of being in our heads all the time and worrying about where we lack or thinking about, I know if I were to reflect on this for myself, I know this could be a sense of overwhelm. And it's like, there's so much that always needs to be done. I have so much I need to do that it's kind of like spinning in circles. I don't know what to start on first, because I need to do this, but first I need to do this, but first I need to do this. And then if you're anything like me, you end up scrolling social media. And then you really feel bad because nothing gets done. But also, if you're anything like me, you might end up hiking in the forest. So, we're not going to say it's all bad. I think it's really about setting your priorities, and it looks like your first priority is identifying where you're putting yourself down first and foremost. And I think journaling is probably really important to the process of taking your power back. We initiate these conversations with ourselves, and so, where can you start valuing, and just start to journal about what you do value about yourself, and also giving yourself credit, because probably as the day goes by, you are getting some things done, but are you giving yourself credit for the accomplishments? Are you acknowledging what you do, or do you get one thing done and you're on to the next sense of panic and overwhelm? So, kind of a deep reading today, I guess, but because I think this 10 of Cups can be yours. It's all about a shift in, and also because this is earth and this is air, I think it's literally saying get out of your head and get into your body. Go to nature. Establish a visceral connection to the earth, establish a visceral connection in your body, wherever you're at, find your feet, look up at the sky, even look up at the ceiling, find something to appreciate, start breathing, breathe behind your belly button, come into your body, and then start looking for things that you are grateful for, start looking for things to appreciate. Whether you're looking at yourself or whatever it is, make a list of the things you did accomplish in the last week, month, year, and give yourself a break. So then we've got the moon reversed, the Knight of Wands upright, the Ace of Wands reversed, and the Four of Pentacles reversed. So initially, all of these cards were face down, and the only card that wanted to show itself was this Ace of Wands reversed. And, what I was getting off this card, it was somewhat inspired by the activities of the day, where we were calling out toxic behavior, especially that of the masculine, projecting lust and showing kind of like entitlement to our time, our energy, our bodies. And maybe this is a little bit controversial, but who gives a fuck, right? If I don't talk about it, who will? If you don't talk about it, who will? And I really appreciated a lot of the beautiful masculines who showed up to support my friend who had made a post about that type of energy. I know the Ace of Wands reversed, that's a very specific thing to put on this card. But again, maybe it's wanting to shine through my filter of something to talk about today. And it really, but then the rest of these, with this Knight of Wands and the Ace of Wands reversed, couched by the Moon reversed, and this Four of Pentacles reversed, it does feel like there's a devaluing of the self. Fire energy very much can speak to sexual energy. And when the fire energy is reversed, it can speak to, sexual trauma, toxic expressions of sexuality. And with the Knight of Wands, with this energy, it really does feel like maybe you're fueling your passion into things that just don't serve you, especially with that Moon reversed. When I see the Moon reversed, it's crazy. And we've got this Nine of Swords and this Moon reversed. This is some trauma wanting to surface. You see that she's submerged, she's beneath the surface. But with the Moon being reversed itself, it's like it's a distortion of how we're looking at our trauma, or a distortion of how we're dealing with the trauma. And again, and the way, how did it come out? The way this Knight has her back turned to this Moon reversed, and then looking at this wand in a reversed way. Again, it's like taking our trauma, not looking at it, and then feeling it. So, this could be addiction of all kinds. But it feels like it could be some sort of sexual addiction or something like that, or looking for validation in ways that we need to look to ways to validate our own self-worth. So coming to this Four of Pentacles reversed, it's like you're not protecting your value, you're not protecting your worth. And I know, you know, a lot of times the Four of Pentacles can talk about holding on too tightly, but with this card in particular, I love her. This is my favorite Four of Pentacles depiction because she is guarding her chest, and it feels like, you know, she recognizes the most valuable thing she has is in her chest, and she is not opening up to just anybody. She's going to make sure that they show her that they value her heart, they value her, they truly are invested in her before she opens that up. And so it really feels like that's what all these cards are talking about is, you know, where can we get some clarification by looking at what's been hidden in the shadows, by looking at our traumas, by looking into the darkness and finding our own inner child and validating that self-worth. La 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 la. And then fueling our passions into opening doorways for ourselves, opening doorways based on inspiration, creativity, what truly motivates us and inspires us. Yes, going after our passions and desires, but in a way that truly honors our self-worth. And then we end with the High Priestess. And I love the High Priestess was sitting above all of this. So I kind of felt like there's like an invisible string connecting the Ten of Cups to this High Priestess wanting to create, it almost feels like music, the way it's traveling up. And then we end with this High Priestess. And this is like truly valuing the divine guidance that you receive. And when we put these three energies together, it's like receiving this divine inspiration and then anchoring it down into the physical in a way that truly values our creativity, our passions, our desires, and who we truly are. All right, that's all I have for today. Once again, my name is Fairlight. If you would like a palm reading, tarot reading, or astrology reading from me, I will have the Calendly link in the description somewhere, or just hit me up on whatever social media you see this on. And I'm so glad to be back making videos. Thank you so much for watching. Peace and love. Until next time.